Hey everyone, I hope you are well. Thank you for being here. Okay. Oh, like and subscribe if so inclined, and thank you. Okay, so oddities. All right. So I feel like there's a lot going on this morning. And one, I don't know if it's me, I don't know if it's real, but I feel like this image is like smoky or hazy or something, and I'm not doing anything different. So I don't know what's going on with that. I feel like it's part of it, whatever's coming through. And then also, I am a firm believer in signs and synchronicities. And I always take a minute in the morning when I get up. And, hello, I'm Holly, psychic medium. Welcome. Okay. I always take a little bit of time, drink some coffee, a lot of coffee, and it just varies what I do. Maybe watch a little bit of the news, listen to some music. There are a couple of people that I really like their channels, and I still am going to make that video about resources and people who are doing readings that I know with a spin or whatever. So, but this morning, a song popped up that I just felt was not by accident. And it was a song that I absolutely love. And it's by the Judds, Judds, an American country. And I know I've mentioned country music a lot lately, but it's not that that's, I like it, but so I don't know what the theme is with that too. I just heard Going Back to Your Roots. Okay. So, but it's called Love Can Build a Bridge. So if you want to look that up, it's a very moving song. And I feel like that holds incredible significance this morning. And what also was coming up this morning in terms of a message, because I always try to tune in and ask, guides, guardians, Mother, Father, God, what is the message for today? And what was coming up was that believe in yourself, even if no one else does. Find your community. Find the people that you resonate with. Especially when you're doing anything in a metaphysical field, it's becoming more mainstream, but it's still not in the mainstream. And a lot of people, okay, here we go. This is it. Yeah, all right. This is the message. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you. If people are walking away from you, or if you feel like you don't fit in, and that's why that song was important, you hold love within your heart. Bless and release them. But the love you hold for yourself will always take you in the right direction and where you need to be. Your self-worth, self-talk, self-love, all of those things are critically important. There are people who privately and quietly will want your opinion about things, things without calling it metaphysics or spirit driven or whatever. But yet in public, will stay as far away from that as possible and barely align themselves with you. We are no one's dirty little secret. And I want you to hear that right now. This is spirit-led. This is spirit-driven. This is a spiritual practice for the highest and best good for all. And I am proud of it. I was born this way for a reason. If people don't understand it, just say, okay, that's you. Release it with love. Don't internalize it. Okay? Now, I'm not talking about this people who are trying to manipulate someone's will and use energy for negative purposes, but, that's a whole different world of hurt, okay, and wrong as far as I'm concerned. I'll just put it out there. I think that's wrong. But I believe this is a healing practice. I believe this is what brings us closer to the divine. I know it is. All that is good, all that is right, all that is holy, all that is special, all that brings us more in tune to our higher self, our higher vibrational self, the soul, if you want to call it that. And love can build a bridge. So instead of trying to convince anyone, because I feel like that's going on right now, and it may be within someone's family, instead of trying to convince anyone to believe you, let them believe what they want. But don't let anyone dissuade you from what you know to be true within yourself. Now, if you're hearing things that are telling you to do bad things, or hurt yourself or other people, that's not spirit. That's not anything that comes in the light of God, okay? That's not spiritual enlightenment. That could be something very negative around you, or it could be just a chemical imbalance in the brain that could easily be fixed. I'm a massive proponent of take care of yourself. Get the care you need, whether it's psychological, medical, whatever it is, and you can take the holistic route, you can take the Western medicine route. I like to blend the two. I'm not telling you what to do. You have free will and you are your own free agent, okay? But just understand that rule out the mundane. Just like if a light flickers in your house, don't assume it's a spirit. Get the wiring checked. You may have something faulty going on. You don't want a fire risk. As long as the wiring and the electricity checks out, then you look at the metaphysical, okay? Because we do live in what I call and what a lot of people call the mundane world. We live in a very literal physical world here, okay? So that's just my little caveat for, do your homework. Make sure we are living in physical incarnations and in a physical world. But spirit is all around us. Okay? And it is the most important part of my life. Love can build a bridge. It's a beautiful song. And it's true. It is true. Fear is the antithesis of love. Oh, thank you, Spirit. Here's a message. This is a message someone needs to hear. If you are living in fear that someone won't love you, or someone will leave you, or someone will hurt you, then that's not love. That's dominance and control. Do not confuse loving someone so much you're afraid that they might blah, blah, blah. That's not love. And that could very well be some level of dysfunction. And I'm not saying anything that I haven't had to say to myself or acknowledge around me, okay? So just understand that. All right, well, that was kind of a heavy message. Not the most happy way to start out, but it is a reality, and it came up, and it was coming up strongly today. All right? If sometimes it feels like you're alone, you're not. Spirit loves you and is always with you. Spirit is always. The angelic realm, your guardians, your guides, they are always with you, and they love you. Ask them to help you to understand how to handle situations, okay? Or ask them to take it from you, solve the problem for you, and help you to find the people and places and situations that will help you in your personal growth. Okay? All right. All right, well, you know what? I am going to jump right in. We haven't done a card pull in a while, so this is a deck. I've shown this one before. It's the Energy Oracle cards by Sandra Ann Taylor. Okay. And I did trim these down. They were a lot bigger, but now they're manageable for me to hold. So, Mother, Father, God, Spirit, Guides, Guardians, what is the message that you have for us today? What is the message that you have for us today? They said, look at the top and the bottom. Cornucopia. And on the bottom, hostilities. You know, that's kind of what we've been talking about. Trying to figure out and balance the wealth, the cornucopia, the blessings and the gifts the Spirit brings you, but the hostilities and the difficulty of living in the world we live in sometimes. You know what? Oh, and I asked for another message and they said, open up the middle of the deck. Community. Find your people. Find your place. And all things will come together. We're not all meant to believe the same thing. We're not all meant to live the same lives. We're not all meant to read the same story. And we're also not meant to live in isolation. I'm listening, Spirit. Help me. Okay. We will venture out into the world and into other groups and into other situations. And no, people will not always understand. And in my case, I've often had people kind of mocking or belittling. That's fine. When they need me, they always end up calling me. Oh, hi, Miss Maggie. You doing okay? Never know what's going to happen when Maggie gets in that particular bed. She's old, she's arthritic, she's diabetic, she takes insulin. That's why I have a towel and a puppy pad, and I just do a lot of laundry. She's very consistent. She might take a nap. She might decide to potty in it. I don't know. I know that's gross, but she's an old girl. And so I just let her do her thing, and she's truly consistent. I know that's so gross and random, but she did in the middle of a video one time. She's completely consistent, and I have a very clean home. I do believe in keeping a clean home. All right. So, but I also believe in taking care of my little fur babies. All right. So, we will have to venture out into the world, into these other groups, but it's important that we find that community and that place that feels like, while we're here, home away from home, and like-minded people. Okay? Ask to be shown where to go for that. And if you go one place and the vibe feels a little off, or you don't trust that they're what they say they are, or they practice things that maybe don't are not in alignment with what you believe, then that's okay. Let them, but you remove yourself and go somewhere else. You don't have to change or fix anybody. All right, let's move on. So, what is the message for today? What is the message for today? What is the message for the collective? What is the message for today that you have for us? What is it that you want us to know? Oh, they're like, we already gave you 3 cards. Oh, well, excuse me. All right. What is the message you... Oh, you want me to use the other deck? All right. Well, I guess not. That one came out pretty fast. All right. Ah. Attachment. Now, this could have 2 meanings. Spirit, help me out to know what it means. Someone may feel as though they have, or they may actually have, some kind of spirit attachment that is unhealthy. And I don't feel like it's not a demon, anything like that. No. What I feel like it is there may be someone out there who feels like they have, it's going to be what would be considered in modern, what most people would call earthbound. I prefer to refer to them as unresolved because they haven't resolved and moved themselves into the light. So if somebody feels like they have an attachment that is someone who passed on, someone who died, did not transition, and they're kind of clinging to you. All right, here's what I'm hearing. 1, don't make friends. That's not the way to find your community. An unhappy dead person still is carrying around a whole lot of baggage. They need to be helped and moved on. One of the things so let's go ahead and do it right now. One of the things this is what you can do. Just say, please open the gateway. Archangel Michael, Archangel Michael, whatever you prefer to call him, or your guardians, your guides, your protectorate. I call to you to remove the unresolved, earthbound, or the lingering energy that needs to move on and into the light. Open the gateway, please. Thank you. There's no place for you here. This isn't your world any longer. You will not be judged harshly. You will be guided and helped to understand what happened in a gentle, peaceful, and loving way. Move into the light and all will be answered. There is no place for fear or hurt there. The only place you will feel hurt or fear is here in this place and in this space. You're not helping yourself or anyone out. And you're only hurting the person that you're attached to. It's time to move on. Thank you. Thank you. Whew. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. All right. You can do that same thing yourself, but I could feel it. I could feel it transition to move on. I didn't realize how tense and tightly wound I was to start. I'm sorry, you all. I guess I must have been feeling that and didn't realize it. Sometimes that stuff can sneak up on you. Whomever that was attached to, you're good. But recognize how you feel now and how you felt right before, and that will help you to identify when you've got some energy or something that isn't yours that might be dragging you down. And I wondered why I had such a vice grip headache all day. It's like 6:20 in the morning. But I've been up for a little bit. So, and I got up with a headache, and I don't usually get headaches like this. Yeah. Whew, that was a very sad person. And hopefully your mood and your energy will lift, and you will realize you were carrying around someone else's emotions that weren't yours, okay? So anyone can do that at any time. If you're not sure, call on Archangel Michael or Michael. Call him whatever you like. Just say, I need help now. Move this on. Okay? Trust that it's happened. But don't hold on to them. Whew. All right. Thank you. Love can build a bridge. And sometimes we got to help them walk across that bridge. Wow. Someone has a question. Traditionally, suicides, no, they do not linger. Very, very, very rarely. Every now and then you might get one, but very rarely. Sometimes it's even, we won't get into all that right now, but it's been my experience that at the time that it's getting ready to happen, there are extra spirit guides that surround the person to help to escort them across quickly. Because someone who is in the state where they are willing to do that level of self-harm are generally not in a good frame of mind, and are very often not responsible for their actions because of whatever chemical imbalances or depression or whatever. So they usually have extra guides to help escort them across. So if you're a loved one, if you've experienced someone doing that in your life, and I had someone very close to me do that, understand that they don't linger in the same way that now murder victims, that's a little different. Sometimes those are the number one that I have to help escort or translate and open the gateway for and convince them to go across. I'm not doing anything, you all. It's not me. It's entirely spirit-led, but they just use me as sort of the mouthpiece to help them cross on over. So anyway, I feel like this is important. So why do we need someone who is not in spirit form to help a dead person transition? Why can't, the angels or God, goddess, Allah, Buddha, whatever, it's the higher power, all that is so much more powerful? Well, because we have free will. And think of it, this is the way I've always described it with being a death walker and doing that work. Let's say, they're still in their human form in their minds. They're still carrying around all that human baggage and emotions. They are distrusting, they are paranoid, they may be in whatever throes of whatever happened to them, angry and disbelief, or they may just not be very nice because they weren't nice in human form. So very, very rarely is there anything that is what would be considered demonic. They're just think about some of the nastiest, meanest people. Imagine them without a body and being dead for a long time. They just get meaner and crazier, okay? So that's usually what most people will think of as evil when they're just, they just need to go. So why have a human be a death walker? The only thing I can kind of figure is that because these spirits are still in such a human identified form in their minds, imagine if you were in a country where you did not speak the language, you were lost, you had no idea how to get back to your hotel, and you were at a loss and in a panic. And then all of a sudden you hear someone like down the street speaking your native language. You would look at them and make a beeline right for those people and say, oh my gosh, you understand me. Okay, can you help me get to? Okay, it's the same thing. You don't know those people. Who knows what they could be up to? But all you know is that there's something that rings a bell and you identify with them. They seem familiar and you're like, whew, and you're willing to take the chance and risk trusting them. I think it's the same thing. I am that identifiable voice. I am that identifiable language. And that's why I often call myself a translator for the dead or for spirit. Because this disembodied dead person who's freaking out all of a sudden is like, well, I don't know if I can trust that. I don't know what's going on. Or what do I do with all these emotions? And I'm so angry or scared or whatever. And it's like, I feel you, man. Look, here's the deal. And it's just, and then they see the gateway. And once it's open, they usually just run right in because it feels so good and it feels like home. Okay. I hope that helps. That's the only way I can kind of figure it. Hey, Aggie. There's little Miss Agatha. All right, so we're going to pull one more card, and then this has already gotten really long. So this is another Sandra Ann Taylor deck, and this is the Quantum Oracle. I haven't cut these down because I would cut out too much of the wording, so they're still kind of big. But again, very pretty cards. The backs on these cards are just gorgeous too. All right. No, they're saying that was enough. Okay. All right. What is the message for the collective today? 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 Okay. Am I supposed to take that one? Yes. Okay. All right. Let me get these all sorted up here. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, this is a mixed bag of stuff. All right. I'll hold them up, just show you real quickly, and then I'll ask Spirit to jump in and help me understand what the message is, because I'm still kind of in that heightened, on alert kind of energy, I think because of the crossing. Oh, I'm hearing a good buzz though, and getting the vibration in my ear, so I know Spirit's around. They're about ready. Okay, so the first one is increase. And I love an image of a road. It's possibility. That always signifies possibility for me. Then we have letting go, and she is struggling with those dogs, man. And then planning and action. Another road. Okay. Loss. He's holding the rope where the ship was, or the boat was tethered, and it got away from him. Ooh, that's significant. The phrase getting away from someone. And I don't mean like running away, like someone lost. And I think that's the lost card. Yeah. Someone feels like they missed an opportunity. Okay, and then stuck energy is the last one. But there's a rainbow over dude's head, okay? There's a rainbow over the guy's head. The truck is stuck, but there's a rainbow over there. Get on that rainbow, slide down, find your pot of gold. Daggone, man, you're not stuck. You just are stuck in your head. Okay. Let's get to it. All right. I feel like this is actually a positive reading, even though there were some, it went from increase and then we kind of went down. It's actually a positive reading. Okay, give me the words. There is increase planned for you. It's coming, but you have to be willing to let go of the old ways of looking at things and doing things, the old ways of doing things. If you don't get stuck and out of your rut, you are never going to find the prosperity, the love, the home, the career, you're playing it safe. Now, I don't mean pick up and drop everything and quit your job. That would just be being foolish. But get out of your head. They're saying this links back to the beginning, the first part of the message. No one's keeping you down but yourself, because it's a way of thinking. Now, if you're in a dangerous situation, that's totally different. Get help, okay? Get help. But we're talking about internal work here. And sometimes we are our own worst enemy. Missed opportunities and stuck in a rut or stuck energy when you don't have to be. You have this entire rainbow above your head. Planning and action. They want me to talk about this one. It starts with a thought. What is it that you most desire? What is it that you most want? Once you can identify that, and it may be that the way you go about identifying it, because I've been there where you're like, I don't even know what I want right now. Well, then what is it that you most want? Security, respect, success. And what do you then, let's say success. Okay, so then let's take that and break that down. Success in your relationships, in your health, in your career. Okay, so let's focus on health, because that'll be an easier one. Or love, let's go with like relationships and love. Most people seem to have lopsided lives, like they're a stellar success in one area, but then in another area, they're not, because they've had to let it go in order to achieve that great success over here. So oh, wow, y'all, that is intense. Be your biggest advocate. They're saying, just remember that phrase. If you were to advocate for someone else, what advice would you give them? And then you do that for yourself. This feels kind of like a tough love pep talk. There is a little bit of a warning here about the missed opportunity. And nothing is a missed opportunity if you take the steps to identify and then go after what you want. And I'm talking about healthy, positive ways, not some stalker, weird, crazy crap, okay? No. Nothing that would hurt anybody else or be against free will or any of that kind of stuff, okay? But if there's something you really want and you choose to keep your head buried in the sand, you choose to live a stifled existence and not even try. And that could be in any area of your life, health and wellness, eating healthier foods, and only having the treats every now and then instead of mainly treats and a little healthy food, or maybe shopping less, or loving what you have, or maybe shopping more, maybe treating yourself to something. I know someone who's so stinking cheap, I swear to God, she'd try to sell a 20-year-old tank top with a hole in the shoulder for $5. And she's sitting on a pile of money. You got to be healthy and you got to be in balance. Okay? Balance. Boy, I am just in a fit today. I am just having a mood. There's a reason for this. If you want it, you got to go after it. Be smart about it. Planning. Planning and action. We have two roads for a reason. Two roads. But you got to get rid of that poor, pitiful me. Okay? You can do it. Okay, and what I'm hearing is, of course, I got to insert first. Always be safe about what you do. You have free will. Anything I'm saying here, it's just a suggestion. Please watch my disclaimer video. But if you want to have something in your life, if you want to try or do something, if you are a slave to the old messages, to the self-doubt, to the not feeling good enough, then that wins. And are you really going to let someone else's negative talk and own insecurities control you after all this time? I love you all. And I got to tell myself these messages too. I love you all. We, and I want you to say it with me, we have perfect souls. We have the power to make positive change in our lives, and we can do it. We're going to think about it, we're going to plan, and then we're going to take action, and we're going to take one step at a time. And we can get there. We can get there. Every step you take. I had an elementary school teacher. We were on a field trip at the zoo. And boy, that bus felt so far away at the end of the day. And she had us walk 2 or 3 steps and stop and turn around. And she said, "Look how far you've come." We were like, it was only 2 or 3 steps. And so we took a few more steps, and she would make us stop and turn around. And eventually, we were down the block, and she had us stop and turn around. And that moment never left me. Thank you, Mrs. Mullins, my first grade teacher. You taught me a wonderful lesson. Every single step counts. All right. I feel better now, so I must have gotten out whatever needed to be said. Okay. All right, everybody. Love you. Have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.